class. Today we are going to talk about the second story for this week. It goes along with the first story, the birthday pet, but this one is called the family pet. Now before we begin, I want to go ahead and talk about all the vocabulary for this week. So I know you've been seeing it in the PowerPoint, but I'm just going to go over it really quickly with you right here. The first oral vocabulary word is responsibility. And responsibility is something you are supposed to do, something that you are supposed to do that's your responsibility. So think about it, how does it feel to take on a new responsibility? Think about when you are a star student and you have the responsibility of being first in line. Think about how that makes you feel. The second word is depend. When you depend on someone, you trust that person. So think about, as we're reading, how a pet depends on its owner. What are things that you do for maybe your pet at home that your pet maybe can't do for itself? So how does your pet depend on you? Next, we're going to talk about compared. Compared is if you compared two things, you found out how they were alike and how they were different. So we've done this a little bit in math. We've done some comparing and saw how things were alike and how things were different. So think about in class, have you ever looked at maybe whoever sits at your table and compared their wow work drawing to your wow work drawing? You got to see how your drawings were alike and you got to see how your drawings were different. Next we have train, and this is not a train like a choo-choo train, no. This is to train, meaning to teach a person or animal how to do something. So think about whistling. I'm not a very good whistler, but think about how if you could whistle, how you would train somebody to whistle. So how would you teach someone else to whistle? Last but not least, we have social. If you are social, you like being around people a lot. So think about yourself. Do you think that you are a social boy or girl, or do you think you're not very social? Do you like to be around your friends? And then why or why not? Why do you think you are a social boy or girl? I know this one is hard to think about right now because we're all sitting at home, but just kind of think about when you were at school. Were you very social or were you not very social? Right. Let's begin with the family pet. You can look really quickly at my first picture and see that this is maybe something that you would see in real life. So this is kind of a clue. Is this going to be an informational text or is this going to be fictional? Look at the picture. You can even look at the other pictures real quick. We see that these are actually pictures that we would see in real life, so this is definitely going to be an informational text. All right, the family pet. Imagine adding someone new to your family. What a change that would be. How would you adjust? What would you think about? Choosing a family pet takes careful thought. This animal will share your home for many years. Your pet should fit your lifestyle, how you live from day to day. Any kind of pet, from a fish to a cat, will depend on you for all of its basic needs. Every member of your family must agree to take on this responsibility. You're about to meet 3 families. Each family chose a different pet and took on a different amount of responsibility. And each family had its own reasons for choosing the right pet for their lifestyle. So let's take a look at this picture and see, where do you think these people are? I think that they're probably maybe at the pet store trying to pick out maybe a brand new kitten. Now it is time to meet the Park family. Let's learn about their lifestyle. This will help you understand this family's choice of pet. The Parks live in a small apartment in a city. They like their home, but they sometimes wish they had more space. The Park children want to get an indoor pet because they do not have any outdoor space, such as a yard or a porch. Mr. and Mrs. Park ask their children to think about the cost of a pet too. They do not want to spend a lot of money on food, equipment, and care from a veterinarian or pet doctor. The Park parents are also very busy. They are willing to get a pet, but the children will have to take care of it by themselves. The Park family decided to get some fish. They bought 3 goldfish in a small tank. The worker at the pet store taught the children how to keep the tank clean and how to feed the fish. Caring for 3 goldfish takes up a very little time and space. Compared to many other pets, fish require little responsibility. So think about all the different things that the Park family thought about before choosing the pet. They thought about where they live, how much time they had to give the pet, how much money they wanted to spend on the pet, and how much space the pet would take up, okay? Now let's meet our second family. This is the Daysons. This family lives in a house outside of a city. The Daysons are active people who like to be outside, but they are not home very much. This means that they are too busy to walk a dog or play with the cat every day. Still, the family would like an entertaining pet to enjoy. After visiting a bird breeder, the Dayson family bought 1 male parakeet. Back at home, Mr. and Mrs. Dayson helped the children as they learned to care for their bird. Each day, they must change the parakeet's food and water and tidy up the cage. Then, every 2 weeks, the cage and bird toys need a thorough cleaning. The children take turns doing this task. It's often time to play. Parakeets are fun pets that like to be held. The family has learned that they can train their parakeet to talk. The key is to speak clearly and slowly and to repeat the same words. If the Daysons are patient, their bird will start to mimic or copy the words they say. The Daysons, our bird family, chose a medium responsibility pet. So think about what type of pet the Daysons chose, and think about all the different ways that they care for their pet and what makes it a medium responsibility pet. Our last family, the Johnsons, spent a long time planning for a pet. Each family member promised to give plenty of time and attention to an animal. The Johnsons live in the country. They have a lot of space inside and outside, and they have a lot of time to spend outdoors. Mr. and Mrs. Johnson also have enough money to spend on food, toys, pet equipment, and veterinarian visits. The Johnsons want a social animal. They like to cuddle and play with a pet. They would also like to spend time training an animal. The Johnson family decided to adopt a golden retriever puppy. Before they picked up their dog, they set up a weekly schedule for feeding, cleaning, and walking the dog. Then they chose a name, Logan. The Johnsons were ready for a high responsibility pet. Still, they did not realize just how much time and love Logan would need. Mrs. Johnson and her daughter stayed up all night with the puppy for the first week. Everyone finally settled into a routine. Like the Parks and the Daysons, the Johnson family knew that they made the right choice for their family pet. So think about, why is this pet a lot of responsibility? What makes a golden retriever a lot of responsibility? And why did this family choose to adopt a puppy? Once you've discussed this with whoever's watching with you, maybe mom, dad, brother, sister, aunt, uncle, grandma, grandpa, whoever's with you right now, I want you to think about if you have a pet at home. What type of pet is it, and why did your family choose that pet? If you would like to share, I would love to meet your pets and hear all about them, their names, why you chose them. I know we've talked a little bit about this. If you've already been Star Student, we've shared about our pets. But for those of you who have shared, I would love to see pictures of you and your pets. And for those of you who have not shared, I would love to meet your pets. So you can always send me an email. You can comment below on the video, whatever's easiest for you. All right, happy Friday. And if I don't send another video, you guys have a great weekend. Bye.